corner of science and spirit, live here on Blog Talk Radio, powered by eastrologer.tv. You may be picking this up on Facebook or some other channel, but if you would like to get a free reading with us, be sure to give us a call here on the show. We're not paying attention to those other chat outlets. That number is going to be area code 319-527-6071. Now, Veretta and I were just talking or chatting in the few minutes before the show, so that's great. We know that she's on the line. My question for you, Veretta, is what is it that we need to know in this week that's coming ahead? What is it that...
Okay. A little bit, I'll say a lot of the crazy should have, it did subside, or it should have lessened itself tremendously. People may still not have a lot of clarity or understanding about what's to come, but at least the up and down kind of nuts is over. There is a shroud of suspense, however. So there may be still some stuff to come. It may not be entirely this week, but there still may be that feeling of, okay, no, I don't understand what's going on. So there may be just a little bit of unknown surprise kind of event situation that pops up between now and Wednesday, and will carry over then also probably for about the next week or so. So we've got a little bit of who knows what coming in our future. And when I say who knows what, it doesn't necessarily mean it's negative completely. It could just be a lot of what's needed in the way that it has to come. So it's a who knows kind of thing.
I just want to let our caller, area code 216, know that we're going to come and take your call in just a moment here, but I want to kind of finish up this little section here with you, Veretta, that it is so interesting. You know, I always start every single show with what do we need to know in the days ahead in this month or whatever time frame before the next show. And, you know, the answers that you always give me tend to be so vague and unclear. It's like that could apply to literally anybody or anything. But then when you look back at the specific steps you've taken in your life and what you're doing to better yourself, or what you're working towards, you realize, oh, that's all really true. I just didn't know that it's so generic like that. But that's sort of what an overview is supposed to be about, right? It's supposed to be something that applies to literally every person on the planet. So that's why we do this. And I was talking with my therapist this past week. You know, I said, hey, so in your experience, have you been noticing that your clients have sort of been backstepping at all? Because that was a conversation we had on our last show, is that people are tumbling in that progress that we've been making. And she says, you know, it's really funny you mentioned that, because everybody has just sort of been feeling that way. So it gave me the confirmation that I know that what we say on the air is true, and that's great. So that's one of the main reasons why we always do that in every show, is what do we need to know in the week ahead? And it's just, you know, something to keep in the back of your mental filing cabinet when you're living life and doing things, because it really can help to color our actions and reframe an experience so that it seems more appropriate to us in that moment. So that's something that that we do experience here on the show, and that's one of the things that I like that we do every single week. So, Veretta, when you're picking up on those messages from Spirit and you're channeling them, how do they come in?
Well, it depends. A lot of times, when it's just the generic sense of, you know, the overview, and could or it may or may not apply to all. I usually get it in visions or feelings or an example. Like Spirit will give me an example of something, and then I need to relay that information. If I'm giving it in to an individual, most of the time, then overall, it's audible. I can hear them telling me, or they're, you know, giving me specifics, so much so that all I have to do is just echo what I'm receiving. But you know, with the like you said, in general, the vague, it has to be vague. Otherwise, I get too detailed, and then I miss a whole lot of people around. They're like, yeah, that was bunk, because none of that happened. So yeah, that's you're right on the general stuff. It has to be that way to apply to so many people.
Yeah, and see, Uranian astrology is not really designed for that. So that's one of the another terrific benefit of having you as a co-host on this show is that we can talk about that really general sort of stuff because Western astrologers can bore you until the end of time about what's going on in the planets in the sky. Single factor analysis. We don't need to get into that conversation because it's boring, but it just doesn't go anywhere. So what ends up happening is that the information gets glossed over. We don't really pay attention to it because it's so generic and we don't really like it. But what we can do, what Uranian astrology is designed to be extremely personal, which is sort of how all of this is functioned and designed, is so that you can get a personal consult, ask a question, you get an answer, and then that gives you the information that you need to know based on your soul's DNA and possibility or matrix of possibilities in your life, that this is something that you can attract and or manifest. So that's what Uranian astrology is for. But in a general sense, like how is every single person on the planet being affected, that's not terribly interesting. I mean, you could look at like the chart that's on the screen. This is the world chart for when the show started at 6 p.m. tonight, but it's not really very interesting because it's going to apply to everybody. That's why astrologers have sort of made a bad name for themselves, is because we get so stuck up on these really generic readings that apply to the masses, when in reality, we're just looking for answers to life's biggest questions. That's really why we're here today, right? So, on that
Yeah.
note, I do want to get off to our first caller here from area code 216. Hi, you're a new caller. Just a moment. Thank you. Hi, you're on Celestial Intersections Radio. May I have your name and date of birth, please?
How you doing? This is Desmond. My date of birth is 12/16/71, 1971.
Desmond, have I read you
You need
before?
your time. Not that I know of.
Okay, so
I think it's my
twelve
first time
sixteen
calling.
1971. And at what time were you born?
10:09 a.m.
Okay, and where were you born?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland. Okay, perfect. And Desmond, would you like a general reading today, or do you have a specific question for us?
I'll take a general reading.
Okay, all right. Veretta, what you got?
Doesn't. All right. So let's get you energy. Okay. So first thing I pick up is you're kind of really very interested in psychic ability and reading. You know a little bit about it. There's a little bit of something going on in your energy as well that might portray that you can do the very same thing. So let me just get you and see what we got going on. Okay, so I want to give you what you don't get for yourself, because apparently you can get a lot anyway. But I guess I want to say you got I don't know how to phrase this. You've got a little time off, and it's coming to you right away. It's going to bring you a little bit of anxiety, but you know so well that things change and only happen for a reason. So it shouldn't really tick you off, but the way it comes across maybe will. And I feel like it'll give you, the feeling is it's just meant specifically to give you some time out, give you the chance to get in touch with nature, allow you to do some speculating and review, and all of that you wouldn't normally have time for. And it will also, I don't know, I feel like it's going to help you clarify priority. It'll help you clear off things that really don't matter or shouldn't matter as much as you feel they do. And you'll be able to kind of like put direct attention to those things that jump to the top of the list. I feel like there's also other people involved in this. So don't focus so much on those other people as much as you do you. This time off is specifically meant to help you cut loose of the slack, not speculate what's going to happen, but just kind of look at what's important to you and throw stuff aside that really isn't. So I would say basically this is, what's going to happen in the very near future. This is going to give you an idea of what to do with what's to come. and why it's happening, and not get stuck in the how comes in a way, and um, it kind of not enjoy, but enjoy. At least relax. At least understand that it's not going to be forever. It's not going to be so detrimental that you can't do what you need to, and then the other way, pay the bills, make ends meet, whatever. And it's going to give you opportunity to come to full term about the things that really kind of are right in front of you, but you haven't had the time or haven't had the ability to really look at conclusively, or thought you did, and then.
What do you mean by time? Can you expound a little bit on time off, like?
Time off, either from a job, from something that you're doing consistently, people that just a break in whatever your regular routine is.
Oh, okay.
But
Like
like I
give
said,
me a
it
little
doesn't
more
have to be
clarity.
great. Yes. Well, and so you don't have to go crazy wondering what the heck is this for? Did I do something wrong? Did I miss something? No, it's specifically to give you the opportunity to just kind of chuck things to the side or completely throw them away, find they're not as important as you maybe thought they were, or you're giving them the relevancy of, and just really look at what is important for you right in front of you.
Okay.
Ernesto, can you give him a little something?
Sure. Desmond, are you looking at starting a new business, becoming an entrepreneur, or just very simply doing some type of work where you're calling all the shots?
Yeah. I'm much interested in starting like a holistic herbal business online. Get that started.
Okay, so just sort of sell botanicals online then?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be upfront and tell you right now that there is absolutely some travel that's involved with this, because at the moment, at this exact juncture where you're at in that whole journey and that whole quest of your life, it is going to be such a drain and a bleed from your pocketbook that's going to be unpleasant. So this is going to be one of those things where you have to do some really hardcore research, like really in depth, like page 30 kind of stuff on Google, to find those vendors who are going to be the people you want to work with, because there are absolutely better financial options that are out there to you right now. You really just seriously have to dig for them. And then the other thing that I want to say is that as far as that work endeavor goes, there may be some personnel, like some people who are trying to help you along the way. Weed them out, get rid of them, make them go away. Your intuition is correct. Follow your gut instincts. That is truly the best guide in all of this whole process of what you're going through right now. Is pay attention to that gut instinct and let your intuition be the guy here, because they're calling all you, that's calling all the shots. That's hardwired into spirit. And like this other stuff of like people try to give you either the runaround, or they try to give you an explanation as to why things aren't going the way that you're expecting. None of that should have to be accepted at this point. You are at a point right now, I'm sorry I have to use this term, but you are entitled to be a bitch to people because you've made it this far and they haven't. So this is something that you have to use fierce personal responsibility and cutting of cords to really get the things that you want. I do think that you will lead to it. It will lead towards the result that you're expecting or wanting. It's just you're going to have to do some pretty heavy legwork right now. So I would say buckle up, and put on and bring up your bootstraps, because this is going to be the type of stuff that you're going to be getting into right now. And I also feel like that as far as that other work thing is concerned, that this is going to be a time where you might want to think about outsourcing, or finding some other type of creative outlet. I feel like you would really benefit from some good marketing skills, and you don't have that at the moment, or you think you do, but they're just not grabby enough to get people when there's so many vendors online. So that would be like a sort of a secondary direction that I would take this into. The first thing is to resolve the financial piece of it, and then after you get that done, then look into the creative marketing, because I feel like that an ad campaign or something along those lines would be a benefit to you.
Okay. Okay. Part
Does
you said
mhm.
like cut people off, like can you just go a tad bit more in depth with that?
to, okay, so there, so it looks like to me, just from what I can see here at the surface level, I can definitely do this more in a consult to give you that specificity. But based on this, it looks like that um, people are just going to kind of fall by the wayside. You know, they're going to mess up. They're going to do something. There will be a parting of ways to where these people are no longer characters in your environment and your life story. So it's not really any hard feelings. It's just the fact that you're taking out the trash and that's what needs to be done right now. So that's kind of what that piece is about, is about saying goodbye to people and getting rid of them, is the fact that you messed up. This puts, this puts a dent in everything that I had planned for myself. Get the heck out of my breathing space now so I don't mess up my progress any further. That's sort of where you're at. And I'm not saying to use it with that sort of volatility or even that sort of tone, but, just kind of let people know, hey, you really hurt me here. This is not good. The best way to fix it is to make it go away.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Veretta,
Alrighty.
do you have anything else, or does that pretty much sum up what you're getting?
Well, what you just said, yeah, that pretty much, the very last part of it was pretty much right to the point. When people aren't delivering what they should, whether they can or not doesn't matter. But when they're really not giving you what you need, yeah, cut them loose. Don't carry that dead weight anymore. Look at your priorities.
Okay. I got you.
Well, Desmond, it was great to have you on the show. I am so thankful that you picked us today. Really means a lot. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share, and we'll catch up with you on a future show. Give us a call back and let us know how it turns out.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Until next time,
Appreciate it.
many
Exactly.
blessings. Take care. Good night.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a little bit of housekeeping to take care of right now. It looks like that our call queue is kind of busy. We will get to you all tonight. That is the goal anyway. We're going to get off to our next caller here from area code 504. Just a moment before I turn on your line, we're going to do area code 504, followed by area code 941, and then finally we'll get to area code 720. And then I see you, Jennifer, there. We'll get to you next after that even. So we have 4 people in queue. First number is 504. Hi, you're on Celestial Intersections Radio. May I have your name and date of birth, please?
Yeah, it's Debbie, and it's February 12th, 1963.
February 12th, 63. All right. And at what time were you born?
I want to say like 12:45 p.m.
Okay, p.m. Great, got it. And where were you born?
in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Oh, I've read you before, Debbie, right?
Yeah, you were. Yeah, it's been a long time, and then I heard your voice. I'm like, oh my gosh, I wanted to call back in.
Yeah, I remember you worked in television at one point in time, and I had a script doctor that worked by the same name. So it was just sort of like a Twilight Zone kind of thing for me. And then it turns out you guys are totally different people, but you live in Biloxi, which is a huge gambling hub in, the Gold Coast, which is obviously an interest of mine. I always pay attention to gambling kinds of things. So great to have you back on the show.
I'm not a gambler. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well,
So,
I actually said Biloxi because it's the closest to a teeny tiny small town.
okay, there we go. Okay, and then Debbie, would you like a general reading today, or do you have a question about an issue?
Yeah, general's good, and it said like life path or with the Akashic. I'm fascinated by the Akashic Records, but yes, general is good. Thank you.
Okay, do you have a theme or a topic in mind that you want to look at, or just anything that's
Professional again. Professional.
Okay. All right, for sure. Veretta, what you got for professional endeavors for Debbie here?
Right. All right, Debbie. So as I look forward for you, what I see immediately is you're going to revisit something. You're going to revisit an area that maybe when you left it before, you didn't think that was ever going to happen again. I feel like it may not also come through as your first choice, or there may be a little resistance on your part because, like I said, you thought, oh, okay, yeah, I'm done with that. I'm not doing that anymore. And there's a reason for it. And whether you stay in that direction will depend upon whether or not you get the reason. So and when I look at this, it feels very much associated to a person or a like a characteristic or a personality, not so much a person, but who they are and what they do. And so there's a little bit of something you need to review. There's a little bit of information about them. Maybe that for you was hard before, and it's going to come back, or it's going to come to you in a manner that you can fine tune how you interact or how you portray yourself in coordination, in sync with them. Definitely, it isn't something that you'll have to do forever, but it is definitely something that you need to learn now and move through so you can do something different or do something more. The feeling is, yeah, like I said, this endeavor may not be your favorite subject. So whatever it is, just know that it's part-time and it's very temporary. It's needed, and the necessity depends upon the future for you. It's something that, like I said, because you dealt with it before, it ended, whether it ended badly or it ended in a manner that you saw it coming and said, oh yeah, heck no, I'm not doing that, and bailed too early. Yeah. Before you really, chewed through what the main crux of the situation was. But the reality of it is this time you need to work through, find the right answers, find the right way to correspond to this. And there's no danger, there's no issue. It's just really more of a personal thing that got stuck in your craw, and you just, you didn't work it out. You bailed. And at the time, that was the right answer. At the time, that was something you needed to do. But now you need a little more info. And because you need that info, and because it pertains to the future for you, it's a probably sure bet that you're going to have to deal with that on a regular basis. And the feeling I get when I say that is it's entertainment value, which means because you're going to be able to know exactly what the thing is that you're dealing with and looking at. You're going to know exactly how to deal with it appropriately. In the future, then, whatever this pertains to, you're going to be able to say, oh, yeah, one of those. Okay, I got this. And waltz right through it because it won't bother you so much anymore. It won't be detrimental to you in the future because you'll have worked through it enough to know exactly what's going on, how to deal with it appropriately, how to talk or interact with them, because you'll need them. These are people you'll need, or you'll need to pay attention to every now and then. So it's important that you go through it. It's important that you it doesn't have to be your forte or like you're the master of whatever this is, but the reality of it is you are going to be subject to dealing with it, and it is something that is going to affect your future. And if you don't, then you're not going to be able to really understand what's going on. And why am I getting these people back in my space again? I just don't get this. Well, you're going to have these people, or they're, a mainstay to you. So it's just something that you need to kind of work through this time.
Well, you say that, and I wrote a letter. It's bullying, and I had one job where it was like blow it up, and I don't know if I could go back because every place I leave, they try to ban me. It's so weird because I was a third party person. And so this last one was in January, and I was accused of saying things I didn't say, and it's like the woke culture, which I'm like, I'm the wrong person to tell I'm not that person. But I just, the lady was screaming at me, and I tape recorded her, and I was going to send it, but I didn't, because somebody said if I sent this letter exposing her, the middleman, not the head guy really liked me, that she could ban me for life or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, banned is banned. And it is exhausting. It's a jealousy, and I'm just so darn tired of it,
Yeah.
It's a projection.
Well, so again, remember that what you're learning is going to be something that will help you let go of taking it personally. So much so that, like I said, when you see them coming, you're going to recognize them for what they are immediately. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to sidestep them, but you're going to placate them to the best of your ability without your head blown off. And because I get the fact that you just hate people like that, and I get it, but I also get that there are reasons that pertain to you why you hate that. And so once you realize that, once you understand how to overcome that personal aspect of it, and just see them at face value, oh, you're one of those people. All right, let's play this game again. It's not going to be quite so detrimental to your health. So let's see what Ernesto has to say. He might be.
It was bad for my health. Yeah, I was swelling up, cortisol high. They would either take credit or they would be jealous, and they could copy me and do what I'm doing, but they wouldn't. They would just be lazy and drama. Right. I'm sick of the drama. Golly.
I hear you. So Ernesto, what do you think?
Yeah, let me take a look. So, Debbie, you have a lot of stuff that I've put up on your chart right now. So to give you just sort of an overview, since you're so interested in the Akashic Records, that's what this is, what we're looking at on our screen if you're watching our YouTube cast. All of this is astrology is a symbolic language, obviously, because these glyphs all correlate to planets, and the planets then correlate to keyword norms, or like just sort of, I guess, cheats that we can kind of remember keywords. For example, like the sun is the day, or, like Mars is your work, for example. So we use these keyword norms to dissect the language of the planets to see what's happening at any one axis point in your chart. Our founding father, Alfred Witt, already vetted this entire system, so we know it's good and it can work. We just don't use signs or houses because that sort of distracts. It doesn't unify in any way. What you'll find here, though, is especially when you're looking at like a spouse or a child or a best friend or something like that, the people who really matter in our life, the sacred geometry will begin to repeat itself over the course of many charts, and that's where we start to realize that we really are very interconnected. So that's sort of an aside from this, and what I'm looking at right now is just sort of what is the potential in Debbie's soul matrix DNA to do all of the things that you're wondering about? What's the direction that I should take right now in my life? So when we look at that, I've asked just a general question about where you are and this year, and this is a year where you've got some work things that are definitely being highlighted. I want to say that like maybe 3 to 6 months ago, you were probably pretty hot about the lawsuit. Like that was probably going to be a thing about the harassment or the, whatever word that you want to throw in there, that there was somebody was definitely getting sued.
I thought about it.
That time has passed, like 3 months ago, 6 months ago, that would have been a terrific time to do that, to just go ahead and do it, poke the bear, say, I don't care, let's just go for it, forking goodbye kind of thing. That's sort of where you were at, and we've sort of passed that right now. That stepping stone is no longer there. What I really feel like as far as like the work stuff is concerned is going to be that You are going back into work. I want to say that you're going to go back into sales more than anything else. This could be like
Mm.
advertising sales. This could be, maybe even just selling cable subscriptions or packages, maybe even working in a department store kind of thing. But you're going to be doing some type of sales. So that's going to be the theme that you're going to want to keep an eye out for in the next job postings, or as you're sort of getting ideas about what type of work is it that I would like to do. Um, I would go ahead and um, start looking for things in sales. So the lawsuit, I would kind of walk past that. I think that's going to end up backfiring in a not pleasant way, and that could do stuff to where like you end up being blackballed on your personnel file with HR, and then no future employer wants to hire you because of all of these risk issues that they're not comfortable with. So I feel like now
Right.
it's not good to do that, but I would just be looking for new jobs in sales, and that new job it is going to be coming by definitely. I want to say by the summer. So like this is going to be even right now is a time where you could be putting in for new things, and you'll have some job interviews throughout April and then most of May. So there are new opportunities on the horizon, but I do agree that it is going to be dealing with stuff that you've not really worked with in the past or for a while anyway. So you're going to be brushing up on some old skill sets you haven't used in a while, and that's also going to put you into
Hmm.
contact with a new group of people who are much more spiritually minded than that woke toxicity nonsense that you're getting stuck with right now. So the new group is coming.
Hmm.
It's just not this one.
Okay. So I should have. Are you saying I should have sued 3 to 6 months ago?
I'm not saying you should have. There was a possibility to do that. It was just a one-time only thing though, and that ship has already sailed. So we've kind of got to move past that.
I was told by like everyone, even attorneys, that I would lose more money than I would make.
Yeah, you
That's
would.
why I.
That's why the lawsuit really isn't worth it for you, because it's to prove a point. Like it slaps somebody on the wrist and says, "Hey, you can't do that," and it gives you the personal satisfaction of, "Oh, I taught this person a lesson." But that is all. It's an expensive lesson to teach somebody if you really want to be holistic about it. But that's
Um,
sort of what that was about. So I don't think that there would have been a whole lot of benefit from it, aside from and then not to mention
yeah.
all of the emotional distress that's associated with, oh my God, I just sued somebody. Who the heck am I as a human being? Because nobody wins when they
Yeah.
end up doing that.
No. And there was two people that had wronged me. My stepmother, my dad died, and my mother kept saying, "Sue him, sue her," and I don't. That just seems like a negative portal, you know?
Hmm.
I mean, maybe that's my lesson, that I don't stand up to bullies. I don't know.
So
I don't know.
yeah, but Veretta, what you got on that for bullying here? What is it that Debbie needs
So
to know about that issue?
right, unless you're really clearly, crystal clearly guided to do something more than just stand up for yourself. And by that I mean you tell them no versus sue them. Then the object isn't always yours to do. And I'll tell you, I can't tell you how many times I've heard, well, somebody needs to teach them a lesson. Okay, but if it's going to hurt you worse than it does them, then maybe you're not the one to be teaching that lesson. Maybe you're the one that's meant to walk away and make them deal with their own karma on their own time, and know that it's
Right.
going to hurt a heck of a lot worse and more than you could ever provide. I think in
Yeah.
this situation with right, so this situation gives you the opportunity to know you took the high road, even though you were pissed off, you wanted revenge, you wanted them to know that they more than made you mad. And the reality of it is it really wouldn't have gotten you anywhere, and that's what you were told. It wouldn't have gotten you anywhere. Now, when you have that many people substantiating the same thing, then it's probably a pretty good plan that you don't do that. Yet,
Mhm.
next time, however, if the
Ugh.
situation were to arise and it's completely different, or there's a much more detrimental to you situation occurring, then you still have that choice. But always look at what the repercussion to you is going to be, and you really have to take some time to get past the anger to do that. It's not up
It's
to
true.
you to teach everybody in humanity what they've done wrong. However, if you are in a position that you're being guided to, if you, it's not about vindication to you. If you will be 100% sure that what's needed by doing this act is what the best overall situation, the best overall answer would be, then you go for it. And I feel like if it's bullying that you're going to have to understand how to do, then you'll be guided. So, but let's get this straight. I think the one thing that I was picking up most overall is whatever this is, it happened a long time ago. Whatever you're reviewing or coming back around to.
Just with a family member, yeah.
Yeah. So
like a narcissist. So
yeah, that absolutely makes sense. So don't think that suing them in general or doing hanging them on a cross in general is going to do any good, because the narcissist feeds off that crap. You have to learn how to understand the way a narcissist works, and don't feed them, and get what you need, apply what you want, and call it good. Call it good. Don't feel like there's got to be some, evidential thing that happens that puts them out open on the market and lays their crap bare, because that doesn't necessarily do any good. They feed off of that, and they'll just make you wrong
learn
for it. No,
right.
they don't.
They don't. The old job, she kind of took herself.
Modified. Yeah, they can't. They don't choose to learn. Let me say that. They do learn, but they choose not to learn in that direction. But you can modify their behavior, because they usually have some kind of someone that makes them a little bit vulnerable in one or two small areas, that once you learn what those key factors are, you can shut them down a little bit. You can't put them in their place. You can't make them stop indefinitely, but you can shut them down.
Yeah, and Debbie, I just want to say this. I just want to leave you with this advice. Remember that when we're dealing with toxic narcissistic people who are so full of themselves and their whole shtick and everything that they do, we may want to be of the position of the light and to try to educate and to transmute energy so that they can do better, and, that whole everything that we can get into. But the reality is, what's really unfortunate, these people are so hung up on themselves and their end game that any strides that we would take to try to teach them a lesson to potentially hurt them, quote unquote, it's not going to stick. You cannot hurt these people. The best way you can hurt these people actually is by ignoring them, like disengaging and saying, I'm turning myself off from you, like go away, forking goodbye. That's the way that we can hurt them, by not giving them that energy. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Like we keep trying to think to ourselves, I'm going to try to summon the mountain here and get past the dragon. It'll be okay. I have the strength to do this, right? No, you don't. Sorry. Ignore it. That's the best thing to do, is to just rest, honestly.
Okay. Oh, thank you. I thought I've dealt with it, because the real source of it is healing, almost is healed. I think I know how to deal with her. Mm-hmm. So I'm surprised I've got the outside one. That shocked me. That was in January,
Hang in there.
And I was so angry.
You'll get clear-cut evidence.
I was told she's gonna get fired anyway. Like, don't even bother. She's gonna be fired anyway.
Well, just remember that the structures in our life that are not meant to be there any longer, Spirit will find a way, one way or another to magically lift those things away from our environment because we're not supposed to have them. And, like I was just going through a product that I used every so often, and I don't touch it a whole lot anymore because it's one of those kinds of things where the company treats its customers badly, but you know that you have to use it because they're the only people on the planet who can do it like that. So I ended up deciding begrudgingly, I'm going to go back to this company all these months later and let me see if anything has changed or if it got better. And then guess what happened when I tried to log into my account? It said, an administrator has disabled your account. Please try again.
Oh, wow.
I just thought, thank God for making that so easy for me that I don't even have to have the conversation anymore. How am I going to make the zombie go away? It just went away.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you all so much.
Absolutely. It was great to have you on the show, Debbie. We'll catch up with you real soon. Be sure to give us a call back and let us know how it turns out.
I sure will. Thank you.
Take care, and until next time, good night. Many blessings. Okay, and we just got a donation here from Jennifer at area code 519. We're going to catch up with you here in just a moment. And before we do that, the remaining call queue is going to be with area code 941 and then area code 720. Remember that you can always go to paypal.me/Uranus Happens. That's from our old program, and donate $10. That gets you a front of the line pass, so you can just skip the queue and then you'll be next. So we're going to catch up with Jennifer for right now since she went ahead and did that. Hi, Jennifer. Can you hear me on the line? Are you with us?
I can absolutely hear you. Yes, I am here.
Perfect. All right, Jennifer, thanks so much for being on the show today. Now, do you have a question for us, or would you just like a general reading?
A general, my birthday is coming up, and I wanted to let Veretta know that she told me something about her son a couple years ago, and he confirmed it with me like a few months ago. So, I just wanted to let her know. Sometimes we don't know right away, but sometimes you eventually find out, right?
Yes, it's always great. We always appreciate the updates, so that's great. We're really glad you came back. Do you have a theme or topic in mind that we can kind of look at? Because there's 8,000 formulas, and we just want to narrow it down a little bit.
Probably moving. If where a good geographical place for me to live would be.
Okay, all right, moving, perfect. All right, Veretta, what you got for Jennifer on moving, and just a general for this year?
All right, Jennifer. Yeah. Let's see. Where are you right now?
I'm in Canada, but I'm very close to Detroit, Michigan.
Okay. All right.
Jennifer, could you turn up your device volume? You're kind of soft. It's hard to hear you.
For sure. Yep. No problem. I'm in Canada, but I'm very close to Detroit, Michigan.
Okay. All right. So let's just put your geo tracker on. So I see two hops. I see going due south, and then I see going west after that. And the reason I say that's two hops is because if you were meant to just go southwest, I would have got it that way. But it feels to me like from Canada, you may come down to like the middle of the country or just above that. Yeah, about the middle of the country. And then you're going to go west. And I feel like it has to happen that way because what you want is not going to be completely available. So you have to take a skip and a jump to get there, or you're going to vacation somewhere for a little while until what you want is completely available. And then you'll be on your way. Now, I feel like you can't just go west. Whatever it is that's needed, a job, a place, a connection, whatever, it isn't here yet. So where are we? We are almost April, May, June. I feel like you're going to have a pretty good plan, or at least an idea of what you're doing, and you'll make headway in June, July, August, September. Somewhere between June and September is basically when the first leg of this trip will either extend Um, so the second thing I get about that, so it'll either extend or end. So the second thing I get about this is you'll have to choose whether you want to stay where the first hop is or not. Um, and you may decide to do a little bit more exploring versus just readily head west. So it may be, and I also get that timeline is variable. I don't get that that's a given that you're going to boogie out, because you may have a last minute opportunity come through for you right where you're at. So you may stay a little bit longer, feel like, well, I'll leave tomorrow because I'm getting a little bit more than I was getting before right now. So we may extend that time frame out a little bit down the line, but I'm feeling kind of comfortable that by the end of the year, you are where you need to be.
November.
So,
Okay.
November?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's going to be good. The move itself is going to be great in regard to what it'll benefit you immensely. The fresh air, the good scenery, the new scenery, whatever that may be, it's going to give you opportunity to break away from or conform to the new, break away from the old, conform to the new. It's almost like you're getting under your belt all the great things available to you again. And I don't know what that would be, that you can't get in Canada, but it feels free. It feels freer. It feels liberating that you can do this. So it feels good. I don't know that you're going, so when I look at west, I don't know how far you're going west. I don't think that you're going to go to California, but
How do you feel
you may
about
go to
Yakima,
Nevada.
Washington?
Washington State?
Yes. We have 3 locations based on your inquiry about moving. I'm looking at cities that are related to moving. That's kind of how we do relocation in Uranian Astrology. So Yakima, Washington would be one option. Eugene, Oregon would be another. And then on the opposite end of the country, we have Portland and Augusta, Maine.
Sorry, I only heard Eugene,
Yeah, Eugene,
Tacoma.
Yakima, Portland, and Augusta, but the Portland is in Maine, not in Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Maine. Okay, I've been there before.
Augusta, Maine would also be another location that you might want to look at too. But I really get the sense that November is going to be about the time frame when you're going to start to see things a lot differently. That may actually be a moving month, despite, especially if you're looking at like Augusta, Maine, where the weather is really wild that time of year. That could be dicey, but I really feel like it's just going to all click in such a way that you're just going to say, okay, we're going to go for it. And it's going to be all right. And you know that it's good because you're not getting the pushback that you would normally get otherwise.
Oh,
no, I'm so
perfect.
sorry,
That's
Veretta. I
great.
didn't mean to hijack your part of it.
No, I'm good. All good. All good.
So,
No problem.
yeah. So, Veretta, what are you picking up on those cities? Which one of those 4 resonates with you? Yakima, Eugene, Portland, or Augusta?
I say Eugene, only because it's farther south, and it was definitely west. When I seen her go south, she made a beeline west. So I would say that, like I said, it seems like it's a 2-hop trip, but there'll be a reason. It'll either have a occupation opportunity or something will actually draw her there, not like she throws a pin in the map and, oh, look, that's where I'm going kind of thing. There'll be some reason behind her relocating there.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's
That's
way more
excellent.
glamorous than like an eat, pray, love kind of thing. It's nothing at all like that. There's a practical reason why you're being drawn in this area, and another reason you're being called to move is because there's some karma that you've got to settle there. Like there's some unfinished stories that need to be taken care of that can only be handled in that environment. So that's another big reason why you're being pulled in this other direction.
Interesting, because I did feel like where I am now, I was drawn here and the door's all open for me to be here. But I do feel like whatever karma or whatever I needed to learn from here has completed. Does my chart show that?
Yeah, and that's where we're at, is that story of your current location can end because all of that karma, all of those ties have been fulfilled. And you know what, once we can say that story is done, then we're ready to move on. I mean, that's just basic soul contracts. So your soul contract with this place is finished, which is why you're being called to go someplace new, because there's new things that you'll be learning in that new environment that'll be presented to you. And that's the nature of all of this that's going on. But there will be something practical that will bring you into that. Like there's going to be something like you may start to see a lot of things for Eugene, Oregon, or Augusta, Maine, or one of those cities that I mentioned. You might start to see a lot of ads regarding, like apartments or vacation homes or something like that. And then you just keep seeing the same thing over and over again, and you don't ask for it. And you don't have Facebook on your phone, so you know that your phone's not recording conversations in the background so it can give you personalized ads kind of thing. So we know that that's not happening. But if we can throw that out of the picture, when something continues to repeat itself often enough, that's sort of some spirit's trying to get our attention. Like maybe there is something to that, whatever we're being shown.
That's funny. You know that I don't have Facebook on my phone.
It works in funny ways, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, it was great to have you on the show, Jennifer. Be sure to give us a call back and let us know how it turns out. And I just saw on our YouTube chat that you just found us again here on. So we are back again. We're just under a new account. We've sort of rebranded everything here. So I'm glad that you came to us again.
Perfect. I will. Yeah, I'm following you again on Blog Talk.
Okay, perfect. Great to have you back. We'll catch up with you real soon. Be sure to give us a call back and let us know how it turns out. Many blessings. And until next time.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. Good night. Okay, and we are going to get to area code 941 here. Hi, you're on Celestial Intersections Radio. May I have your name and date of birth, please?
Catherine, May 23rd, 64.
May 23rd, 64. All right. And at what time were you born?
1643.
1643. And that was 5/23/64. And
no,
where were you?
No. It's 443.
Yeah, 1443. This is so, and that was 5/23/64, right?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. And where were you born, Catherine?
In Detroit.
Detroit, Michigan. Okay, got you. And
yes.
do you have would you like a general reading today, or do you have a question for us?
I would like a general reading, but I'm curious. Can you tell if old friends will reconnect again?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's take a look at that. So are you thinking about maybe like reconnecting with somebody from your past or someone you've been wondering about?
Yeah, someone that I haven't had any contact with in about a year and a few months.
Okay, can we get a first name for that person?
Pete.
Pete. All right, Veretta, what do we know about Pete and some contact from him?
So personally, I'm not getting the sense that he will actually reach out as much as maybe you are going to you'll run into somebody that knows him, a friend in common, and in general, possibly what I'm feeling is he's okay. So because you're thinking about him a lot, or he's just coming to mind quite a bit for you recently, or probably for the last few weeks, you're getting the sense that maybe he is coming back around. Well, the reality of it is he is coming back around, but only in his thoughts. He's thinking about you, and that's why you're feeling him. I don't know that he is going to actually reach out. I feel like it's more of unfortunately, a looky-loo endeavor on spirit, because he is thinking and talking, more specifically talking about you. That's making you feel his presence. but I mean, you could initiate something that might get a reaction from him, but I wouldn't say that's going to net you what you really hope for or what you're thinking about. But I don't think in general, without your intervention, that he's just going to reach out for you. I feel like you're feeling him because he's talking about you. Those sentiments that you're feeling are maybe a little conflicting, and you're not sure what's going on. You don't know, what you're going to have to do or where he's at in his mind. But the reality of it is without you doing something first, I don't really get that he's going to reach out. The third party might, that he's connecting with, or you just may run into them. But I don't think he is. Ernesto, can you give her a little bit more?
I'm actually running some stuff about conversations in Catherine's chart right now. Brett, is there anything else that you have on a general while I'm looking at this other stuff here?
Okay. In general, I want to say, let's see. In general, I want to say you're going to begin to explore something, and it may be reticent of these old feelings, but because you're resonating at that level, it's almost a sure bet that it's going to bring new information, new energy, new people into your world. I feel like that in itself will be opportunity. That in itself will bring you, well, it can bring you closure with Pete. But I think more it will bring you is, happiness, fulfillment, no more longing for that type of thing. And that's a big wallop right there, because,
That would be
you've had
great.
a lot of that. Yeah, you've had a lot of that going on. So I feel like there's good things coming at you. Don't focus on Pete. Just be aware of the fact that, when these memories pop up, even though overall it ended, that it's going to bring to you more of what you liked about that relationship. It's going to bring you more about really what you want. And then, therefore, you're going to have the opportunity to maybe rethink, learn again, relearn. What there was in that relationship maybe that you missed, or you didn't seem to get right by him, and other people will be a whole lot more forgiving and, I guess, instructive. So in the event that it was a package deal with a whole lot of extra baggage, other people are going to give you an idea of how to deal with that instead of like trial and error. So you're not going to lose any more sleep over them, that's for sure. Enough time, Ernesto?
Yes. So, Catherine, taking a look at this about Pete and sort of what's going on, I would really need his chart more specifically to get into his things and what's going on with that. But looking from what we can know about your chart and how that functions, really, I sort of think the question about why you're wanting to know about this person deals a lot with, like, not to be bleak, but it's sort of like, I'm afraid of being alone until the end of time kind of thing, and that's sort of why it's this person is sort of sparked in your thoughts, is sort of like, I don't want that to happen. Like, I would rather there's somebody be there for me, even if that's just, chat and say hi, and talk about the weather kind of thing. When we reach a certain point in life, just having any type of human interaction is amazing. Doesn't matter how that may show up, but that's super fulfilling. So I absolutely 1,000,000% understand why you're wanting to know if this person is going to show up for you. But I also agree that I don't really feel like that there's a whole lot there, that there's just not any substance. This is sort of like a story that doesn't really need to be told because there is nothing to tell. It's like that story's already played its course. It's done its thing. You've learned what you needed to, so you can move on from that. I think for you, Catherine, right now, the really big thing that you might want to focus on is, are you currently retired?
I Yes and no. I am a single parent of two disabled young adults, and so I'm 24/7 mom.
Okay. So yeah, I feel
So
like
in
that.
that respect,
Mhm.
yeah. So it's like that's kind of like that's my number one job, you know.
And that's just something that you just kind of have to do. Like that's not one of those things that really fixes itself, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I really feel like that this is going to be a year when you're going to have more resources that are presented to you, to where you're going to get more relief than what you have right now. And regardless of what that situation may look like, the outcome is going to
Mhm.
be that you will have better mental clarity and sort of peace of mind than what you do at the moment. Like, what if a meteor strike happens, that big thing that we've all been waiting for, the zombie apocalypse? What the heck am
Mhm.
I going to do in that situation when I can't take care of these people anymore? Like, you're actually going to get the answers to that about having a contingency plan or a backup, so that way you definitively know, I don't ever have to worry about this again. And even my current state of being in situation, that can be improved, that there are all these new things that I never knew about. There is some treasure trove of information that you have not been presented to yet, and that you will come into contact with this year, and it'll create such a huge change and benefit to all parties involved that the difference is just quite remarkable. So that will be on the horizon for this year. We can definitely get into more details in a private consult with that one, but that's going to be a major theme for you, is trying to, being ruthless with yourself and saying, now, what am I going to do for future planning kinds of stuff? Like, I haven't really gotten into that because I haven't been able to, just because of what's going on. But now you kind of have to play that devil's advocate and have that conversation. So I think that those that information will be presented to you, and it'll be great. I think that'll give you really sort of what you're looking for. And then I think the thing with this other person that get, there are new friends on the horizon for you as well. So you do have the when I'm looking at this, I see a lot of friendship energy. I see a lot of like new people coming into play. And I think
Mhm.
that's why you've had this experience with Pete in your thoughts is, I wonder what it's like to, to have a conversation or to be wanted or to have an activity partner. I wonder what that's all about. So it's just sort of your subconscious
Mhm.
that's bringing it all up to the surface and saying, this is coming. It's just not how you think it is. So it's sort of like time to do a mental inventory of, these are the things that were red flags. These are the things that I did not like. So send that back, and the new model that I'm going to be presented with is going to have everything that I want. Like Veretta and I talk about that a lot with our subscriber
Mhm.
Amala, who's in the process of trying to attract the right partner, and she's being presented with all these different people, but they all still have their issues. And the rule of alchemy is, the first thing we see may not be the right one, but that doesn't necessarily mean we have to have puppy love and run away and join the circus. We don't have to do that. We can say, go away, I don't want you. Tell God, send him back. I want a different model. This, like this whole smoking cigarettes thing, that's just not going to work out with my smoke allergy, kind of thing. So that's where
Mm.
we can sort of,
Right.
where we do get a little bit of that co-creative power to say, this is what's right for me in this moment, because this is where I am in my journey based on my own actions.
I can't believe that you actually brought up what you did earlier, because that has been my everyday biggest fear, is how in the world am I going to pull this off? Maybe not today or tomorrow, but years down the line when I can't do it anymore. What in the world am I going to do? And so I didn't even bring that up, and you kind of just said, some information or some help is coming, and I'm thinking, I'll be able to exhale finally. That will be nice.
You can go on a vacation, like you can have some me time. When was the last time that you've
A
had me time, Catherine?
vacation. I had 4 days in February of 2020 before COVID hit, and everything else has always been us three. I haven't had any time. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
but that's going to be a big topic for this year, is, doing everything that you possibly can to get some answers to what's going to happen when I'm not around. or I can't
Right.
fulfill my duties the way that I have been. So you will get that peace of mind,
Right.
Catherine. I just want to let you know that this year.
Thank you. I wasn't coming. I didn't call for this, but it's really cool the way Spirit works. You're going to hear what you need to hear, and maybe not what you thought you wanted to hear. So I appreciate that. Thank you both very much.
Yes, it was great to have you on the show, Catherine. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share, and let us know how it turns out.
Thank you. I
We'll
will.
catch up with you soon. Until
And I
next time.
did subscribe earlier on Blog Talk.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Yay.
We'll catch up with you on a future
You're
program.
welcome.
Take care, and until next time, many blessings.
Okay.
Okay, and we are going to get off to our last caller here from area code 720. Hi, you're on Celestial Intersections Radio. May I have your name and date of birth, please?
Hi, my name is Randy. My date of birth is 2/15/71, 6:01 p.m.
2/15/71. Oh, great. 1971 at 15:01?
It's 6:01 p.m.
6:01. Okay, I'm so sorry. 18. And where were you born, Randy?
I was born in Manhasset, New York.
Okay, all right. And would you like a general reading today, or do you have a question about an issue?
I have a question. Well, I have a goal to get my my clinical social work license, and I had a setback. I'm not going to get into it, but wasn't able to get it for a while, and I just got a job that someone will actually where I could do therapy and someone will supervise me is what I really need for 2 years. But there's some things about it, and I'm not sure. I want to keep I'm a preschool teacher, so I wanted to do that part time and then do this therapy job part time. But I feel like there's some things that might prevent me from doing it. I'm just wondering what you see if I can manage this.
All right, sure. All right, Retta, what you got for
Do it both.
Randy about the work issues?
All right, Randy. So what I'm hearing when I ask just straight up, is she going to get it?
I got it, but I don't know if I should do it. I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm doing something better come along.
Well, and so I think that's your answer right there. I really feel like either where you're at or very shortly hear from another source, but where you're at, when you're still where you're at, you're going to find overall there is either a specialty area that you want to go in that doesn't require the use of it, or you're really going to think, maybe I'm thinking I'd rather do that, and you're going to have to go ahead and get a little bit more education. I don't think that's very far down the line, though. I feel like whatever that is right around the corner. And you can be sure it's probably not something you'd anticipated, but something specific is going to give you the experience that's going to lead you to that. So it isn't like, you're thumbing through a magazine one day and you look at a picture and think, oh, that looks fun. I think that's what I like. No, it's going to be an experience, is going to be something that gives you an understanding overall of why that would be the right answer for you. So the other thing about it is that your education, getting your degree, is going to be used. It's not that it's going to be a waste of time, but it isn't going to be in the field or in the manner that you're using it now. So don't be kicking yourself in the butt thinking, geez, I took all that time to get this thing and now I'm not even going to use it. You needed it. You really did. So it's important that you have it. It's important that you don't hear me say more education and go, oh my God, no, there's no way I'm going to do anything more than what I've done already. It'll be worth it to you. Okay, yeah, right. So it'll be worth it
the
to
money
you.
to do it. I don't have. I'm sending 2 kids to college. I don't
Well,
know
the
if I
thing about this is, whatever the area is, it'll either help pay for this situation that you're going to get in, or there'll be ample reward that's going to give you what you need. There's some kind of something that's going to allow you to get what you want so that you can continue on that education. But like I said, it's
Okay.
right around the corner. For whatever it's worth, you don't have to wait very long to see what it is that you're going to actually be doing.
So I shouldn't take this therapy job that I got that's 40 minutes away and kind of doesn't line up with my other part-time job. So I shouldn't. You don't think you're not seeing that I should take that one?
Not necessarily, but you should take a job. There is something out there you need to have that's going to give you validation.
Okay.
So if it's not this one, keep looking and like look right now. If you can afford to take this job, maybe 3-4 weeks, month, maybe 6 weeks tops, do so,
Okay.
because that may be where the information that you need is coming from, and solely
Oh,
that.
okay.
Okay.
That could happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ernesto, what can you give her?
Yeah, so I'm
Sounds
taking a
good.
look,
Thank you.
Randy. I want to ask you, is the job thing that you're looking at ultimately down the line, like after all of this, multitasking that you're doing right now and the side hustles and all of that, is your ultimate goal to become a content writer?
A writer? No.
Because I really feel like
Well, I don't know. I've been told that I was going to write a book a million times. I've never written a book, so I don't know if that's what they're talking about. I want to be a therapist. I'm a social worker, so I wanted to get my clinical social work degree.
well, something you're doing.
And I also work with children. I'm also a preschool teacher, so both.
Because something you're doing with relation to like the educational system, that is going to lead into, I want to say, content writing, or doing some type of work for an agency, like preferably a government affiliated type of organization, that they are going to hire you as an employee to create content for them. And it's just very simply because it doesn't exist, and it's really easy kinds of stuff. It's an extension of the education that you do have, but I really feel like that this is going to be something that this is going to give you the financial push that you need to be able to make all of those other things come true that you've sort of been wondering about. And let me just take a look at one more thing here. We got... Let me look at where did that go. Okay, because you wanted to know specifically about like, is this other hustle of the PT job that's 40 minutes away, like, can I handle doing all of these things at once? I think that's a big thing.
I like the preschool. I want to stay at the preschool part-time is what I was going to tell them. I was going to do that part-time and then do have some clients on the side, but their supervision is, they both need me to get supervised on the same day, Wednesdays, which that might not can't happen. And also the other one's 40 minutes away from me. So I'm like, is the other job worth it? Yeah. So that was the question.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, it's worth it in the sense that it's going to give you a different skill set that you wouldn't get otherwise. So for that reason, it's worth it, and you should do it. But the reason it's not worth it is because it's never going to really function like a traditional job would. It's going to be like odds and ends types of hours, super flexible. Like, I can do this when it fits into my life kind of thing. You will have some regularity and consistency with it, but it's just sort of like, just because of all of the other things I have going on and because of how far away this is, I cannot be a statutory employee the way you want me to. But I am absolutely willing to work with you, so here's my availability. What can we work out? Like, I think that, you're going to have one of those kinds of situations where your scheduling is truly something that is controlled by you. And the company sort of has to bend at your will to accommodate that, because there's no other way that they're going to get this. So I think if you're going to take that job, it's not to say that it'll fall apart or fall by the wayside. It's just the fact that it's going to be restricted, and you're not going to get, it's not a regular real job kind of thing, like that you're still going to be doing this other endeavor, and you're going to be doing this PT thing on the side, but it's at your leisure when you have the time for it. And they have to know that up front. So so long as all of those terms and boundaries are up clear and front and everybody's on board with that, absolutely go for it. If they're not okay with it, then it's just not a good fit.
Great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It was so great to have you on the show, Randy. We're really glad that you chose us tonight. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share, and we'll catch up with you real soon.
Okay, take care.
Until next time, good night.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Okay, well, we do want to thank all of our guests for joining us for the show today. It looks like that we did go a little bit over, but we will be back with you guys on Sunday morning for a 1-hour program on April 2nd. It'll be a new month, so we do wish you all the very best and a very happy 1st of April. That'll be coming up here soon. Thanks again to all of our guests. And Veretta, as always, thank you so much for being a part of the show. You really do make the difference here. We're so glad that you're a part of us and that you really love being here with me.
Yes, I do.
And for all other things Uranian Astrology, be sure to check out eastrologer.tv, and you can find Veretta at verettavision.com. This has been Celestial Intersections Radio at the corner of science and spirit. I'm Ernesto. Thanks so much again, and we will be back with you guys on Wednesday. Until next time, everybody, good luck and Godspeed.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for using